Well, Andrea, February is a month of love, and in Hallmark, it is Loveuary. I'm not sure Cupid's arrow was very on point for this month.
What? Oh, I'm actually
We
shocked you say this. What?
we will be talking about the four movies that made up Loveuary. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Guess you're not.
Let's roll. This is Eric.
This is Andrea.
Hallmark Mysteries and
And more.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel.
Well, we got the more today with our Loveuary recap. This is something that I think we might do maybe at the end of every month, just kind of recap the regular Hallmark movies, because we've had some people say that they are interested in this as well. And we'll kind of go through each one. And sometimes I find for myself anyway, my opinion of the movie, either it might get better or worse as the month goes on too, and just kind of reflecting on which movies still stick out to me. Because I think that's the Irish one from January, for instance, that would actually be pretty high for me. I really enjoyed that. I know a lot of people didn't, but when I'm thinking back, I'm loving it. So I'm curious to see how we kind of do with these four movies and what ends up being our favorite. So we're going to start with kind of a breakdown here. I'll read the recap of the movie. We'll go into what we liked. I will do my fan corner because I do a poll after every movie. And then we'll kind of work through some kind of highs and lows then from all four movies. So let's start with An Unexpected Valentine. And so that one was the first movie to air here in February. A chance encounter on Valentine's Day brings Hannah and Finn together as they race through New York City to return a lost engagement ring and save one couple's special day. This starred Lacey Chabert and Robert Buckley. So easily the biggest names of the month. And that's maybe why they kicked us off as well, leading into that Valentine's Day. Unfortunately for me, this is a 2.5. So I gave it a 2.5. This movie was underwhelming, unfortunately. They had a great cast. They have two great leads, but everyone knows I'm a big settings person, and this one took place a lot in the dark, a lot in the van, and they really didn't go too many places in New York. It didn't even really feel like they were in New York City. One, because he found parking spots kind of all over pretty
I
easily,
have
which
that
I'm
note
like,
too.
wait, how does this actually happen? And then two, it was kind of boring at times. Like, this is probably, again, I just talked about the Irish movie. I liked that better than this one. This is probably my least favorite of the year if I'm reflecting on the 8 that we have seen. I really didn't enjoy this one. So what about you, reflecting back? How did this land for you?
Started great. I thought it was really good chemistry with Robert Buckley and Lacey, but I think it's sort of just they both are very talented, and so they can create charisma and magnetism with, I could bring my little teacup here and Lacey could be wonderful with it, right? So I think part of that is what it was. I love the fact that, well, I don't really particularly love the song much, but bringing in Love Shack, I thought that was, rather than some like little cheesy, no royalty song type thing, that they really came in with a big powerhouse of a song. The whole chocolate purse,
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what that actually is, and I don't.
Apparently it's real. Apparently it's a real thing. But
Okay,
why would someone spend $100 on that? I don't know.
I didn't understand it.
No.
So that was part of the thing when you go into a movie and you just fundamentally a core part of the foundation you just don't understand. So it kind of set things off for me. But when I saw Lacey in that leather jacket, I'm like, that is so crossword mysteries, right? Because that is what her look. I
Oh,
looked up and yep, Geraldine, who was the costume designer for that, and we had her on and she talked about
that's funny.
Lacey and her leather. And yep, it just fit in.
That's
Whether
funny.
it's the same coat or not, I don't know because I know she did say she saved things that really fit well. So I think it may be the same coat from Crossword. So that was kind of good. The pizza making class that kind of gave me a little gourmet detective vibe thing. I liked it. So that was good. The whole premise kind of which your favorite movie, Five Gold Rings, right? Oh, hey, we're going to do this and do this little find the person. There's another one where there's a Christmas movie where they have to find somebody who I think lost a necklace or something
Mm.
like that, which
Brandon
is,
Penny, right?
yeah,
The Lost Bracelet, I think.
something like that.
Yeah.
So it's whatever that trope is kind of whatever. It does set up for spending a lot of time together. But the thing though, I had it in my notes too. I'm like, New York City, where is the traffic?
Yeah.
So, and
And
then,
it felt like the longest day or however many
that's what I
hours. I'm
said.
like, that's so much to get in, what, 6 hours?
Exactly.
You know?
That's my next one is the timeline just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. That
No.
they try to make a 9 o'clock party and it
Yeah.
starts out in the dark and somehow
And they're at a
all
dance
the
party before 9 o'clock then? Like,
they do an art class, they do pizza making, they do
go to the
all these
club.
things in like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So I didn't get it. And then there was just something that was off about the writing. It just
Mm,
didn't make sense. And
mm,
I don't mean to, and we'll get into this a little later, but it kind of almost felt like chat GPT writing where it just sort of stick this together, stick this there wasn't a fluidity
mm.
to it. It just seemed like, wait, what? And then I looked up the writing. They have good writers. Jennifer Barrow, she wrote Christmas on Call, Dating the Delaney's, Nicole Baxter, Two Scoops of Italy, Christmas Island, Presence of Love, which is a fantastic, like top tier movie. So it's not like they didn't have quality writers, but there was just something off with the writing. So I'll just go in reverse order for you. I also am about a 2.5 with
Oh,
this, and
wow.
it's primarily
Oh,
because the acting of Robert Buckley and Lacey I found them
great.
great,
Hmm.
right? Like watching them interact and everything, it was nice. I just couldn't think because then it all fell apart.
Well, we are pretty much spot on with the fan corner. So, of them, the breakdown, people who gave it 5 out of 5, 16%. 4 out of 5, 21%. 3 out of 5 was 51%. And then a 1 or a 2 was 12%. So, this one didn't fare probably as well as I feel like they were maybe hoping. I think it was kind of a swing and a miss, unfortunately. So, well, our next movie was A Wish Swap. And this is the recap when Casey and Henry celebrate their birthdays at the same restaurant. They make birthday wishes at the same time, which are granted. However, they end up getting each other's wishes. This stars Emily Tennant and Jake Foy. So for me, 5 out of 5. I loved,
Farm,
loved this movie.
farm,
Um, yeah, this was a small hobby farm. I loved the cute wish swap premise. So for me, this is a movie, like a lot of them are like, if I give them a 5, I'm going to watch them again. Like this came on last night after last night's new movie. And I'm like, oh, I'll stay and watch a little bit of this. And which I did. I stayed up and watched till the first commercial break because that's a sign where I do enjoy this. It is a place I want to go again. Um, I thought the leads, I really enjoyed them together. I thought the movie overall was entertaining. It was for me believable, like, because this is not, so again, I'm from a farm. And so this is not a active like working farm when we think of a farm. Like this is very much a hobby farm. Like you have one cow. If you're milking a cow by hand, this is not a huge farm. You might have a few chickens. Like this is not something that's going to take all hands on deck to run. It's going to be, hey, one person, she can probably even learn how to do these things and take care of the animals herself. And it's going to be not an all day, process because again, not very many animals. So yeah, you don't need to have a huge staff. And so it was believable that he ran between two farms just because the other farm looked a little bit bigger. It had an actual longer barn with more cows in it that were not just milked by hand. So you're having more of an operation over there that is going to be overseen. But again, typically, if you're that person, you're not necessarily like, you're not doing all the things day to day. You have your team to do that. So that's for me. I was really all in. I thought that cute farmhouse, like that wraparound porch, like that is like my style when we talk about style of houses, like perfection. So this movie worked for me. I'm curious to hear, what did you think?
3 out of 5.
What?
Um, it wasn't bad
Heartbreaking.
by nothing. Like 3 out of 5 is an average good movie. I don't view it as a waste of time. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I agree with you. Emily Tennant, adorable. Love her. Holiday Hotline. She was so good in that. I was wanting to see her again. Got to see her again. She didn't disappoint. Found out she's not doesn't have blonde hair. She has that red whatever hair. Jake Foy, which I saw a lot of comments. Some
He was on Ride.
people were saying like they didn't like him or
I
something. Did you
enjoyed him.
see that?
I did not, but
So I
he
I
again,
I thought
he
he
was
was
a
great.
cowboy, a very cowboy farmer.
Yeah.
He played it in that realm, and I
I
thought it
thought
was
he did
fine.
a great job. I liked once again the premise of the wish swap. I think that was really cute. Get magic. It's not quite time travel, but it's like alternate universe-ish,
Yeah.
which is my thing. So, like I said before, I didn't like the finding the ring mystery hunt kind of things that the previous one was, but this one I liked. So I have nothing really bad to say. I thought the dance contest thing was a little hokey.
I thought it
It
was
was
fun.
better than Dance Moms, though, from the dancing aspect.
Yeah.
But I found it a little bit kind of hokey. But that's it. That's why it was a good, average, enjoyable movie. I Nothing bad to say. But also, I don't think there was anything that was like completely elevated, which we will get to in a second.
Well, Nathan Witt was the dance
Yes,
host person
Color
who was,
Murder.
as well as in Gilded Age.
Yes, but he wasn't an MC in Gilded Age, where he was
No,
an
he was
MC
not.
in Color Murder.
He was a prime, hopefully, well,
Well,
I don't know
there's
if
we
they're going to
go.
make,
Well,
I don't know if they're going to make any more of them, but if they do, he could
because
have been
we're a
a love
mystery show,
interest.
we'll tie them all back to the mystery, right? The first one we had Lacey
Yeah.
and her leather jacket
Yes.
crossword. This
And
one
this one,
we have we
perfect.
have him as the MC for both of those. And then
Or
in our
love
next
interest.
and then in the next one we have also another tie-in to a
Well,
mystery.
before we get there, let's hear our fan corner for that wish swap. So 5 out of 5, 40%.
Ooh,
4 out of
solid.
5, 42%. So again, people like this one. 3 out of 5 was just 12%. One of them was probably you then, Eric. And then 1 or 2 was just 5%. So this was viewed a little bit better than the
It,
first one.
I feel like I have to explain though the ranking for me. 5 out of 5 is round. It's like Summer Villa. It is a fantastic, good movie. In fact, it is what we just did last week, that garage sale mystery. I keep thinking about it, where that was a fan. And I
Thank you.
posted this
Thank you.
I posted about it. Like, is this one of the absolute best Hallmark mysteries ever episode? And I'm not a fan of garage sale mysteries by a whole, but it was a fantastic one. So 5 is just that one where if it is on, I am watching it, whatever.
Me
I'm
too.
going to watch. 4 out of 5 just means it was just something in there was really elevated. I was just smiling the whole time. I couldn't get enough of it. It was great. If I'm in the mood, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to go out of my way. 3 is it's a really good movie. It's exactly what I want. When you start getting in the 2s and the 1s, those are ones where, well, the 1 is skip it. And I hate to waste my time. And we don't really get a lot of those. And the 2s, it's kind of like the first one. It just, if I never see it again, I'm not going to be upset. Where I have no problem with this one. So I think it's a good movie.
Well, I love how you say that I'm harsher on these movies, and I have not been. Let's
Well,
just
then
say
what do you say
that.
we talk Return to Office then?
Okay. This must be your 5 star, huh? Well, this one, Return to Office. After making the return to the office on a hybrid schedule, 2 coworkers known to each other only as Miss Monday and Mr. Tuesday start sending friendly notes, sparking an office romance. This starred Janelle Parrish and Scott Michael Foster. So for me, this was a 4 out of 5. It was a fun movie, an original concept for Hallmark. It had the You've Got Mail feel, which is one of my top favorite movies. I loved that the mother tied the 2 characters together. So going into that senior housing situation, I also loved how she was like, going to be the new person and I'm not going to make any friends, which is so like, so again, I teach yoga at senior living places. And we had a new person in my class who was brand new to the building. And it's so cute because it's very much, it's like a new high school. Like they're kind of like, who, she was meeting everyone in class, and for her coming to class is a way for her to get introduced to people in the building. And so she can figure out who she wants to hang out with. It's a really interesting situation. I also think, I actually think these places are wonderful, having now taught yoga in them, in terms of people. They're happy at the 55 plus independent living situations because they have friends. They're around there. I've talked with many. I was at one building for like 10 years and everyone's like, yeah, my husband died and I didn't want to be alone at my house and by myself. And now I'm here and I always have plans with people. And so it's a really interesting concept because I was seeing some negative things of people being like, oh, don't put me in a home. And I'm like, no, this is actually, if you haven't been in one recently, I would highly recommend just even touring one, because these places are really, I mean, I already told people, I was like, I'm gonna put my down payment in now. So because this is how many years out some of the nice places are. But I'm intrigued. I will say that sounds like a fun situation. They also can be catty, just a heads up, because I have seen that as well. There is some downside. But as far as the leads, I thought those two worked really well together. I think this was our first time seeing Scott, Michael Foster. Is it right? I don't think we've seen him before, because I think I looked him up and I thought he did wonderful. I loved just the fun. It was just like a playful, fun, relaxing movie for me. So if you maybe are going back to work like this might stress you out because there is more work concept, work talk. And so I know for some people, I said, maybe this might not be your jam if you're trying to escape work, but for me, it worked. What about you?
I give it a 4.5. It is.
You just
I think it's. I think it's
to make it higher than mine.
I think it's my. Well, no, I think it's my favorite movie of the year. I really liked it. You go with the You Got Mail, but going all the way back to the original, which is The Shop Around the Corner with Jimmy Stewart. It is a movie from I think the 40s, which that's where You Got Mail is from. Heck, it's My Secret Valentine with I think that's Lacey and Andrew Walker, where they are in the same place and they leave notes for each other on the little chalkboard. The Hanukkah and Rye, which is essentially the same, that sort of premise of them, but you don't know them. Really good trope. And Janelle Parrish, it's funny. I don't want to say not like her, but maybe she was just Coyote Creek Christmas. I was like, whatever. She's not going to go far. But then I've really liked her more and more and more. And Sugar Plum, well, the wedding, Haunted Wedding, I loved her in that. Sugar Plum, loved her in that. And then this one, she's fantastic. So she really is, for me, getting to like this elite Hallmarks, status. So really liked it. I enjoyed that they figured out the plan of how when it was they had the confrontation. I thought it was a good confrontation because it was, oh, you didn't really stand up, but she's like, oh yes, I did, as opposed to this big drawn out miscommunication kind of thing, because she really wasn't standing up and he took his thing, and then she came to realize like, no, he's right. So I like that. That was a very realistic confrontation. Worst boss ever. AI will go to crossword terminal descent.
I loved him. He was a great boss. Character. I loved how he played it.
Correct. And I will say that too, is he played that role fantastically. But the AI, I'm in marketing, and AI is exactly that issue. I get a lot of pressure. Like, can't you just do AI to do this, that? And they're like, technically, yes, but no, because it's not quite there yet. And I also have a fundamental problem of AI that replaces people. I think AI should be making people more efficient. I use it, but I don't use it to replace anybody. We can expand bandwidth and do bigger, better things with it. So that is a complete thing. But you have people like, oh, this is great. Look, I just do this in ChatGPT. And then if you read it, you're like, it looks like it came from AI. I'll also go back to what you said. So my mother-in-law actually is going through this exact process where she is moving to one of those communities. She was very nervous about, I don't know anyone, exactly what you said. And it is fantastic. My daughter, who's 26 years old, she's like you. There's that Ted Danson, I think it's on, I don't know if it's on Apple or whatever, where there's a thing where he goes undercover into one of those communities. My daughter watched, she's like, I want to live in that right now. Those are awesome. And, so you're right. It is a place that is a really good place, to keep socialization up
It's
because you do get
community.
lonely. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. My father-in-law passed away a year ago, and it's just a way where you get kind of isolated and it takes you out of that isolation. Now, I'm sure now, this is not a cheap place that she's going to, and it's quite nice. So I'm sure there's, if you're on some sort of, government assisted type
There are still places
one
because I have
where
taught at some.
there's, probably some challenges of the environment's not quite as nice, but
Oh
what
no, no.
they're
The environment not be nice. I will say this because I have been in those as well, and the people are
oh,
probably my favorite.
yes, I
Because
was getting
that's,
to
I
the
mean,
service,
honestly,
getting
yeah, no.
services and things like that, which we saw was a very like
You're
everything.
not going to get, I mean, it depends. I think it really depends on the community there. But yes, I would say anywhere. I mean, looking into it, highly do recommend.
And I can't believe you didn't mention the little cooking class with Kevin Smith making his
Oh, yes.
appearance, and then the HR guy showing up and rubbing the
Yes.
jalapeno in his eye. Like, really cute scene. And I'll say that also, I love the fact how Janelle figured it out, with the moms. And oh, it's actually mom and grandma, right? I think or was it just she just volunteered and that the older lady was just,
That was his mom, I thought.
well, there's the younger one was his mom, and then there
Yeah, the
was the
other lady
older.
was a friend. She was just a friend that she met there.
Okay, so that she had no relation to Janelle, just knew
Correct.
her through the volunteer. Okay,
Correct.
but I liked how it sort of evolved, and then she sort of like okay and went with it. I really liked that transition of it, so that was good, and she wanted to do the reveal, and then lastly, her dress at the end, fire. She looked beautiful at that end of the movie. So we'll leave it as that. It's a best movie of the year in my opinion so far.
Well, fan corner, 5 out of 5 was 24%, 4 out of 5 was 63%, 3 out of 5 was 8, and 1 or 2 was 5%. So again, people really enjoyed this one as well as the one before. Now we're getting into the one we just viewed as we're recording this, Sisterhood Inc. So corporate exec Megan starts a board of directors to improve her younger sister's chaotic life and finds romance with a psych professor who uncovers her tough demeanor. This starred Rachel Lee Cook, Daniela Monet, and oh boy, Leonidas Galapatas. Okay, well, this one I gave a 3 out of 3.5. I loved the premise, the idea of it. I love when Hallmark does try new things, even if it's a fail. Like it still is fun that they're trying. And for me, if it would have been as fast paced and as fun as the first hour, I would have had this a little bit higher. Like I went in thinking this was going to be a 5 out of 5 after those first 20 minutes. I was laughing, like I put my son to sleep and I'm laying in my other son's bed as I'm trying to get him to lay down and I'm watching it and I'm trying not to laugh out loud in those first 20 minutes because there was just so many great one-liners. And then it just kind of slowed. It kind of had this lull, as you had mentioned, and it got a little weird. I really don't think that the romance was needed between Rachel and Leonides. I don't remember their characters' names, but I didn't need that. Like I just think
Dominique and Megan.
it just kind of muddied the water. I liked the sister angle that they could have just stuck with because again, the sister ended up picking herself and dating herself. I liked that. I feel like both sisters should have had that as their resolution. I liked how both sisters, ended up discovering things about themselves and the process of this. Is this a premise that would ever actually happen? Probably not, but it's kind of a fun idea. Like, again, that's why I liked it for a movie. It's a fun idea for a movie to try this. Again, I just think they missed the mark and then the ending got a little long. Like I remember with about 20 minutes left, because I watched it live with commercial break, I kind of was like, what else are they going to do? Like we've kind of wrapped it up and we still have more. And the ending just felt a little drug out. Like I don't need this. I don't need this wrap up here in this capacity. So that just as you had said with the long, hour and 24, this could have been a tighter 45-minute, just an episode. Then I think this could have been wrapped up really nicely. So what did you think?
You kind of have my review. I gave it a 2.5 though,
Okay.
and the reason is I said just like you, it started out so strong where I was like, I'm loving this, and then it just got muddled,
Yeah.
and then it imploded at the end where the ending just seriously ruined it. Now, granted, just watched it, so it doesn't have time to sink in this, that, and the other, but the ending just ruined the movie, and you exactly described it right. It was essentially going up a roller coaster where you're excited and it's fun, great dialogue. I love the beginning when like they're there and the dad Ken is making adult Shirley Temples and all that hilarious. And I thought the collection that they put together for the board for Izzy was fantastic. Wonderful different characters. Loved what they all brought and doing the transformation, but then it just sort of like you say stalled, and I think if it just stalled and kept going I would have given it a higher ranking. But that last 20 minutes, and I actually went back and looked at the timestamp, and it is almost exactly that 20 minute just was terrible.
Yeah.
I disagree. I thought like I liked seeing Megan and Dominique together. I wish that they had, in that whole muddled part, actually spent more time with that because I think they didn't allow that to go. But once again, you're doing the relationship of the sisters and, like you say, finding Izzy finding herself, which was great. I just think they could have taken some of that dullness and built it a little more into the relationship between Megan and Dominique. I loved the art gallery scene when they came in. They're all looking at the different thing, and then the pizza guy, when he looks at it, Frank is like, "Oh, I love the way that." Well, it wasn't negative space, but this, that, and the other. He has like the most sophisticated art view of it all, and he's like, the pizza guy. So, that's where I was at. It's a shame, and I like Rachel Leigh Cook, and I thought she did a really good job. It just sort of, like I say, fizzled. And then I forget what her name is, the one who played Izzy, the sister. I liked her. She was in the Christmas one where they
Chris McNally one.
pretended to be the
Wow.
lawyers.
Christmas party. Yeah.
Chris, yeah, yeah. Which like she's a good character as well. I was hoping she was going to get together with Curtis, her assistant. Um, I thought that they would have been like a cute couple at the end. It would have been like, oh, look who actually I decided I liked instead of the total egotistical, uh, stock guy.
Well, it's just really funny because you went in thinking I rate all of these lower than you, and I rated most of them higher than you. So
You
this
did?
was hilarious. I
Oh,
told you,
wait.
I was like, I know.
I'm trying to think of our little mystery connection for this last one. I guess we'll go through the fan corner and I'll try to give it a thought, see if I can find some tie-in.
Okay, so fan corner, this is very new. It's only 3 hours on my poll, just because obviously, as we're recording this. 5 out of 5, 21%. 4 out of 5, 57%. 3 out of 5, 21%, and zero, 1 or 2 stars. So people enjoyed it more than you, Eric.
All right. I'm going to make a very big reach here and go with a mystery 101 just because Dominique's a professor at a school and Amy's a
Oh
professor.
my
So
gosh.
that's where I'm reaching. I'm reaching.
Yeah, you
I
are.
got really no other one in here.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up with some of the best of. So from the month of Loveuary, our best romance. Mine is Return to Office. Those were my favorite couple. Is Janelle Parrish and Scott Michael Foster. Those get my nod. What about you?
I can't argue with you. They were fantastic. I gave it 4.5. I said it's the best movie of the year. I love them together. But I'm going to just go out on a limb and I'll say that I think the best relationship was Dominic and Megan. I thought they had great chemistry that just didn't
Do
get a
not
chance
agree. Do
to
not
shine. Like
agree.
their first interaction, they first had that kiss. I thought it was great, and that's what I wanted more of. And
Mm.
then it just died. But yes, from a start to finish standpoint, cannot argue. It was definitely Return there. I think that the potential, that's what I'm going to say. I think it was great potential because I thought the two brought great chemistry
Mm.
that just didn't get a chance to blossom.
I disagree completely with that
I
take. I
know you
don't.
didn't. You
For
didn't
me,
want
the
him. You didn't
guy,
even want them together.
he didn't do much for me. Like of an act, like
The scene
I
when he came
don't even
over and
remember
helped her
him
do
being
the
on scene.
shower
No,
was a super cute,
no. Like
super
I
cute scene, and
literally,
at the end, it's like gave her
no.
the kiss. So
He doesn't
I
stick
know.
out to me at all. Like that's where of the movies, like that would have been my least favorite lead. I didn't really enjoy him. Favorite character of the month. So I'm gonna actually go into another mystery.
The goat
We
from
oh,
the farm.
no, the dad from Wish Swap, who is also the detective in Martha's Vineyard Mysteries. So of course
Of
I love
course,
him.
the old guy.
His voice is like my favorite. It's just like this low, like voice. We didn't get a ton of him, but he is one of my favorites always. So if he's ever in a movie, he's usually going to be my pick. So again, another tie-in to some mysteries. What do you got?
Well, I will say, and once again, I've got the caveat 'cause I'll go with Liv from Return to the Office, but Janelle Parrish, fantastic. But I would just be a clean sweep if I just did Return to Office, Return to Office, Return to Office.
That's why I
I'll
picked
still
those.
stay there, but I'm going to go with Chad. I think it was the HR guy at Return to Office. He was hilarious the way he would like
Oh
just keep
yeah.
popping in and are you guys dating? Or just around the corner, he's like pop in there when she shows up at the office and he puts the little name on her little box thing that she's carrying in, the little succulent and stuff. So he was funny. Good comic relief in that movie.
Well, favorite setting. So of course mine is going to be the Wish
You just
Swap.
wanted to put on favorite setting so you could mention the farm
I
again.
mean, well, I figured everyone knows that I'm a settings person. So I was like, oh, I got to throw this one on. And of course, Wish Swap is my favorite. Now, I will throw in a second character, which we did not mention from Wish Swap, which Pascal Hutton in Wish Swap as the dance coach. I thought she was wonderful. And if
And
she
not
would
being
have played the mystery
slapstick
from
comp.
correct, if she would have been like that in Nellie Knows Mystery, I feel like that I could get behind. That was probably my favorite, I guess, little scene or anything that I've seen Pascal in. It was just a very grounded performance. So I do want to give a little shout out to Pascal as well. What do you have for favorite setting?
Well, I think I have to go to Unexpected Valentine, and the inside of his truck
The
is a
van?
joke. It's a
Oh, I was like,
joke.
oh my gosh, Eric.
Uh, I'm. It's not close. It's obviously the
The
Wish Swap.
Office? Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you were
the
going to say,
Wish
I was
Swap.
you
The
were going to
Wish
say The
Swap.
Office.
Right. I mean, yes, like you say, that house was fantastic. It was.
Oh,
It
the
was
co-working
great.
space in Sisterhood Inc.
The
Oh.
her
Well,
house,
ranking.
her
Her house
apartment was
was
really
cute.
nice.
Yeah, that was nice. So, ranking of the four movies, number four for me was An Unexpected Valentine. What was your fourth?
Sisterhood.
Wow. My third least favorite was Sisterhood Inc.
Unexpected Valentine. And only because the only reason why it's that way is it didn't fall off a cliff the way that Sisterhood did. If Sisterhood had just maintained, which is what Unexpected did, just plodded along, it would have been great. It just had such a bad ending.
Well, my second favorite of the month was Return to Office.
The Wish Swap
And then my first was Wish Swap.
and Return to Office.
I
So we
love how
were
we
sort
were
of
not
just
quite
flip flop.
not quite the same. Well, next week we are diving back into a mystery. I put it up on the Instagram, and so we had everyone vote. Unfortunately, Murder She Wrote did not win. I was really hoping I
It
could
had that
review some.
100% right after you put it up and voted on it.
I know I did. I voted on both my accounts, and I tried to recruit people, and I did get a couple who did vote for it. But Unfortunately, it did not win. And Aurora came in very close second. So I was hoping we would get an Aurora because I just watched one that I really enjoyed. But we are going to
Of
actually,
the OGs,
yeah,
Auroras?
the
Okay.
OG Aurora, not the new ones because we've obviously already reviewed those. But I wanted to pull you back into some old ones since you hate those. But then the garage sales, like maybe you'll find out because some of the Auroras, same with garage
I
sale, they're
like the
good.
first one, Murders Club or whatever it is. The very first one I thought was actually pretty good, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna like a Candace series, and then it just
And
went
then you didn't.
downhill.
Well, there's a lot, so there's a lot to pick from. But we're actually going to go into Fixer Upper. And so we're going to watch the
Yay.
first one, Framed for Murder. And so there are 3 movies. And so kind of the plan for us, if you, I know as we're, release this, obviously they just had a little marathon on the Hallmark mystery channels. Hopefully you were able to catch them if you don't have Hallmark Plus, but they're all on there. So we're going to watch that one, and then we will watch the Concrete Evidence. Then we'll review Mystery Island, and then we'll finish with that Deadly Dead, which is a very interesting title.
Deadly
Deadly.
Deed, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I was like, I wrote Deadly Dead, and I was like, that's a really weird
I
title.
think it's Deadly Deed.
That would make more sense. I was like, who calls something Deadly Dead?
Oh boy.
That's awesome. Well, that's kind of our plan for March, and then we'll finish with that Royal March recap since it looks like we're getting a lot of Royal movies, which I'm sure Eric is super excited for next month.
It'll make Loveuary look all that much better.
Yes.
Which I know because Mallory Jensen. I don't know how I'm gonna hate her.
The Andrew Walker one looks really cute.
So I don't know.
We'll see. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure as always.
Until next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.